Hello, hello, hello. I am doing some work late at night. This is the best time where I get work done. There's nobody up but me. My daughter's asleep for the next couple hours. And hey, how you doing? And I'm just doing work. So if you have any questions, let me know. So right now, what I'm currently doing is I'm doing a tax return amendment, right? And hi, Braids by JT, how you doing? My name is Brianna. Thank you for joining. I am doing a tax return amendment, right? So I wanted to just come on and just talk about a couple things right now. So for example, right, the reason why this return needs to be amended is because it wasn't done correctly the first time, right? And this is a word of advice. If you are coming to someone for help, let them do their job, okay? Because you didn't do it right in the first place, okay? So let them do their job. And one of the things that I really want to highlight when it comes to preparing taxes is that you want to make sure when you do your taxes, right? If you are not an expert in what you are, especially as a business owner, if you are not completely sure of what you can actually take as a tax deduction and any credits that you're eligible for, just seek the help. I'm telling you, if you have a good accountant, a good tax accountant, whoever you're going to, someone that's just not just a tax preparer, if you're going to somebody good and knowledgeable, I promise you that the amount that you have to pay them to get the job done is the amount of money that they will save you will outweigh the amount that you will have to pay them. Let me just say that. A lot of times I hear that a lot of business owners don't go to accountants for their taxes because they feel like they charge too much. But there's a reason, right? There is a lot of knowledge that goes behind preparing taxes. You're not just inputting numbers, right? So like for instance, for me, my target is beauty professionals because I'm a former beauty professional. And so when I am collecting the data from my clients to start preparing the return, I already know off the bat what they're missing, all right? So I'm able to identify some areas of improvement before the return is done, all right? So you want to make sure that you're just going to somebody else that knows what they're doing, because if you have to do it yourself and then you need help or you realize that it's not done correctly in the first place, guess what? It's going to cost you more. An amendment costs more, okay? Because not only do I have to check to make sure it was done correctly the first time, but I also have to make sure to make the necessary changes, right? So I can't just rely off of what they did the first time, right? You have to pretty much, the way the amendment works is you have to recreate the return. But that's enough about that. But I did just want to say, when it comes to taxes, especially as a business owner, go to somebody else. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, all right, in the long run. And also, when it comes to taxes, right, a lot of people feel like, right now, we out of the clear. Taxes, I don't have to think about taxes, all right? But you do. You do have to think about taxes still, because right now, you should be working on your business and you should be making sure that you're structured correctly, you're structured properly. You should be making sure that you're tracking your income and expenses. Beauty professionals, this is major. Tracking your income and expenses. It sounds like it's not a hard thing to do, right? And if you are knowledgeable in how to do those types of things, then it may be easy for you. But like the clients that I work with, they are super busy. And when their shop closed on Monday, guess what? They are not thinking about doing this, right? They are absolutely not thinking about doing this. So we want to make sure that you are getting the help that you need if you feel that you need it, or taking the time to gain the knowledge, right? So when it comes to seeking help, right? Let's say you're like, I'm not sure if I should hire an accountant. Am I at that place? Well, guess what? You can always ask. You can book a consultation and ask those questions, right? There are accountants out there that can help set you up and train you to move forward until that point that you are ready. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're seeking the help that you need, right? You don't have to start out on a monthly basis. You could just start out at one time, get you set up the right way. But you want to make sure you get the knowledge if you are not quite ready to commit to pay someone else, okay? Tracking your income and expenses again, right? So right after this, I have to do a bookkeeping cleanup. So what that means is I have to actually correct or redo everything that someone else did, right? So there's a lot of business owners out there, especially in the beauty industry. And I say this specifically because most of my clients are in the beauty industry. They're like, oh, I can track it in QuickBooks, right? So I'm looking through what they've already done, and I'm seeing a lot of things that are categorized as business expenses, but they truly aren't business expenses. Okay, so not only do you have to keep track of what comes in and out, but if you are using something like QuickBooks and you're saying that something is an actual business expense, or even if you're using the Excel spreadsheet, however you're using it, if you're actually saying that something is a business expense, you want to make sure that it is truly a business expense. Okay? You want to make sure that it's legit, that it is necessary and ordinary for your business. And if you are unsure about what is an actual expense, then you want to seek help, okay? Like, for instance, a lot of the Starbucks, the Taco Bells, the Chick-fil-A's, right? Those are not business expenses just because you ate and you were at work. So you swipe your business debit card. That is not a business expense, all right? And how that translates is once you actually pull your financial records and your tax time comes and you have to give your accountant the information. By taking those unnecessary, well, not really unnecessary, with those business deductions that are not really business deductions, right? You can in turn underestimate your net income because you're saying, hey, I made $100,000, but I have $90,000 worth of expenses, so now my taxable income is $10,000 and I'm only taxed on the $10,000. When indeed all of those expenses at $90,000 wasn't all of it wasn't business expenses. So when it comes to tracking what goes in and out, it's not just you making sure you know what your numbers are as far as your net profit, but you want to make sure that you're thinking about the long run. Okay, you want to make sure that you familiarize yourself and gain some knowledge on what you can do. So that's the biggest thing about hiring an accountant, right? So you have somebody that is going to be able to perform that due diligence for you, somebody that has that knowledge, and to tell you on a monthly basis, like, hey, saw you was going here, what was that about? Okay, or hey, here's a tax strategy that you should be implementing. All right, you're always looking for those business deductions to write off come tax time. Let me help you do it. legally. Let me help you do it the right way. This is what you need. This is the documentation that you need to have on file, so that in the event if you ever get audited, you'll pass with flying colors. The last thing you want to do is have someone telling you owe thousands of dollars and you don't have any proof as to why you don't, right? You don't have any documentation to prove that that was a legit business expense, because you may not remember 3 years from now, right? So that's the biggest thing when it comes to keeping track of your income and expenses, and when it comes to taxes. So as business owners, we need to think about taxes on an everyday basis. We need to move as though we care about how much money we give to Uncle Sam, right? We need to move as if we care about overpaying. All right. Most business owners who don't have an accountant overpay Uncle Sam. They pay too much money. You're either going to do one or two things. You're going to pay too much money to Uncle Sam, or you're going to end up underestimating your income because you realize, like, oh man, I owe too much, so I'm just not going to put all of my income. Trust me, I know. And it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but, you know, when you know better, you do better. So those are two of the main reasons why seeking help, hiring an accountant, booking a consultation to learn how to do these things. If you're not quite at that point where you need that monthly accountability, is definitely in your favor. Okay. So that's all I'm doing. I didn't really want anything, just working on this return, and kind of just got to thinking about what are some things that I can make some points on. I might do this more often because people ask me questions all the time, and sometimes people don't even know what questions to ask, right? So one of the top 5 mistakes that I see for beauty professionals is trying to do it yourself without proper knowledge. That's a given, right? Proper knowledge in taxation, bookkeeping. We all need to operate in our zone of genius, okay? So you will never see me trying to do some starter locks. You never see me try to do some lock extensions. You never see me try to do a vajacial. You never see me trying to do any of that manicure, pedicure, nothing, because I wouldn't know what to do, right? That is not what I do, right? Also, procrastination. When you don't know how to do something, you kind of tend to put it off, right? But in turn, it ends up hurting you in the end. So that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is hiring somebody to help you that's not familiar with your line of business, all right? Having an accountant, you shouldn't just have an accountant. When you choose one, you want to choose one that's familiar with what you do, right? They should be familiar with your products and services. They should also be familiar with what your pricing should be at, right? They should be familiar with the key performance indicators of your industry, right? They should be able to identify as your numbers fluctuate and they're meeting with you monthly. They should be able to help you identify areas in which you can improve, okay? But you can only do that if you are familiar with what you do, all right? That's why having a niche is very important. So you should find an accountant that's not just a tax preparer, but an overall accountant that is familiar with your specific niche, all right? Also, when you are tracking your income and expenses, there's a little bit more to it, right? So the reason why, for instance, if you're using QuickBooks, for example, or any type of software, Xero, Wave, whatever you're using, it's very important that you are making sure that you are categorizing those transactions the right way. Not even that. The whole point of doing that is to see how profitable you are, right? And in order to do that, you have to pull your financial statements, right? So do you know how to read a balance sheet, our profit or loss? Do you know what that even means, a statement of cash flow? Do you know what you should be looking at and how those reports give you indicators of how your business is doing, right? So you want to make sure that you're not just keeping track, but actually pulling those reports. If you're not knowledgeable in that, then that's a key thing to remember and to realize that, hey, maybe I need to seek out an accountant, okay? And also, just not knowing how to evaluate your business. I hear all the time, it doesn't matter, somebody could be making $5,000 a month $40,000 a month, 20,000, no matter what. The question is always, I know for a fact that I make money, but where does my money go? Sometimes you need someone else to give you that clarity, because it's hard to evaluate your business when you're working in it, right? So that goes for anything, not just, like your business. That goes for your life, right? That's why doctors exist. That's why trainers exist. That's why anybody in any profession exists. That's why stylists exist, right? Like, for instance, I could do my own hair if I wanted to, because I know how, but I don't want to. It is a hindrance to me, and it takes away time for myself and what I need to do. That's why a stylist is needed, right? Also, if you are a nail tech, right? I can't give myself a manicure or a pedicure as good as you can. Can I learn? Yeah. But that takes what? Time that I don't have. So, no matter what you do, right? You want to be able to understand and be able to evaluate your business, all right? So those are the top 5 mistakes that beauty professionals make that I've found so far with working with my current clients, past clients. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I figured, just hop on here for a couple minutes while I'm doing this return. Oh, and one thing, I don't know if I already said this, but please don't, if you are working with somebody, please don't try to compare what they're doing to somebody else. Let's compare one tax professional to another tax professional or an accountant, or also if someone's working on your return, don't say you did this in TurboTax and trying to compare. Let me tell you about TurboTax. I believe that, like, say if you were a W-2 employee, and it's very simple, straightforward. All you're doing is inputting the numbers. You're single. You don't have any kids. You don't really have any credits, any deductions. I can understand why people would want to use a software like that if it's super simple, just the individual return. But if you're a business owner, what you input into TurboTax, when you put in your expenses, the total amount for your expenses and things like that, TurboTax isn't going to tell you that what you're taking isn't tax deductible. It's not going to tell you if it's right or wrong. The numbers that it puts out depends on what you put in. Okay, so you cannot compare that to a human being that is well versed in taxation. Okay, because that person is going to use judgment. They're going to ask questions. And they're going to be able to take the appropriate credits and deductions that you are legally able to. Okay? So that's the biggest thing when it comes to, like TurboTax and all those online software companies versus an actual accountant. All right? So I hope you guys were able to get some takeaways from that. I am going to continue working on this return, because I have 2 amendments that I need to do for this particular client, so I can wrap them up. But thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, excuse me, feel free to drop a comment below, and I'll do a video on it. So let me know, slide in my DMs, drop a comment below if you have any particular questions when it comes to taxes, any particular questions when it comes to bookkeeping, anything that comes to the mind when it comes to your business finances, right? Go ahead and let me know, and I will do a video. I think my biggest thing is, when I grew up, I always wanted to be a teacher. But I didn't want to teach in a school, if that makes sense. So when starting this business, my biggest thing, I always have to have the core of my company is education. It has to be education. I don't believe in providing a service and not letting you know why I'm doing it, right? I have to make it make sense to you so that you can understand the value that we're bringing to you. So yeah, so we don't just provide service over here. We definitely want to educate so that you can be able to make better business decisions going forward. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them. All right, and also if you need to book a consultation, if you are one of those people who it's like, I make money but I don't know where it goes, or hey, I started my business but I'm not sure I'm structured properly, or I don't know what I'm doing, but I just know I need help and I'm not sure what I need help with, probably a little some of everything, then go ahead and click the link in my bio and book a consultation so that we can chat. I can let you know more about Clear Vision and about what we do and how we can serve you, and we can learn more about what you need. All right, so we don't have any particular packages, so everything is necessarily built according to the client. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.